Shepherds kept their watching, oh, silent flock by night. Behold, throughout the heavens, there shone a holy light. The shepherds feared and trembled, and low above the earth rang out the angel chorus that held our Savior's birth. Go tell it on the mountain. Go tell it on the mountain. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it on the mountain. Go tell it on the mountain. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Down in a lonely manger, the humble Christ was born, and God sent us salvation, a blessed Christmas morn. Go tell it on the mountain. Go tell it on the mountain. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it on the mountain. Go tell it on the mountain. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is
Hello, GSM. We are live right now on YouTube. My name is Ryan, and I'm so glad you are joining us today. Alongside me, next to the wonderful fireplace, is my friend Ella. Ella, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Ryan. How are you?
I cannot complain, even if I tried. Ella, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a freshman, and I go to Penn. I love traveling, and I'm left-handed. So.
Awesome. Good to know. Left-handed. Loves traveling. We got some people back in the tech booth who are happy about one of those things. So today we are online, and we've been virtual for the past couple weeks. And one thing I just want to say before we head into the night is I just want to encourage you with this. Jesus isn't stopped by us being virtual. He's not going to stop moving and stop working in your hearts just because you're watching us online. Jesus can still reach you, even if it's through a screen. And I just want to encourage you to lean in and open up your heart to whatever it is Jesus has in store for you. Because I promise you, if you lean in just a little bit, it can make a big difference. And speaking of the night, speaking of the service, Ella, what do we have going on today?
Yeah, so after this, we're going to go into a game called The Late Late Show with Eva. And then after that, we're going to go into some worship and transition into a message taught by John Keim. So.
The wonderful and one and only John Keim. After that, after this whole time on YouTube, we are going to head into life groups, which I love life groups. Ella, do you love life groups?
I do.
I put her on the spot for that one. But we have life groups after this YouTube, and if you don't know what life groups are, or this is your first time, or you just aren't in a life group, you can text students to the number that's going to be on the screen, 574-575-4114, and we will send you all the information you need to hop into the Zoom life groups that are going to happen after this YouTube show. It's going to be on Zoom, and you will get all that information if you text students to that number. Also, side note, GSM is actually on TikTok.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We are TikTokers now. Is that how you say it?
It is, Ryan.
We
it
TikTok.
is.
We are TikToking. And a fun thing that we're going to do just for high school GSM, just for people within the high school GSM, is we are going to have a TikTok challenge. And all you have to do, it's a Christmas challenge. You just have to do some sort of TikTok thing with some sort of Christmas implications and use the hashtag GSM Christmas. And we're going to be looking through those and maybe posting it to our TikTok page, or I don't know how TikTok works really, so we're going to be doing the TikToking. So yeah, that's that. I forgot to mention that we were going to talk about that. But so yeah, life groups, TikTok. We also, we're connected to all of you through the chat.
Yeah, so make sure you're engaging through the chat. I do have a question for you guys, though. What is an emoji that describes your current mood? So put it in the chat, and we will see.
We will see what your current mood is through emoji. There's an emoji in YouTube. I don't know if I haven't been able to find it on my phone, but it's when I type in YouTube, and it's a dabbing emoji. And I felt like as I was talking about TikTok, I just felt like dabbing. So my current mood is probably a dab or a top hat. You know, like a top hat, because I feel very sophisticated sitting next to this fire. I feel like I could have a top hat, and we would. Cool. So, so we see you in the chat. We encourage you throughout the night, whether it's through the game or during worship, if you're really enjoying the song, or during John's message. If there's something that you want to throw in the chat, we want you to engage in the chat. That's some of the ways that we can connect with you guys when we're virtual, is to engage helpfully in the chat. Say something that maybe sticks out to you, maybe a next step that you're going to be taking heading out of this week. So yeah, engage in the chat. We hope to connect. Ella, is there anything else you want to say to our wonderful friends on YouTube right now?
You guys are awesome. Just want you to know that.
She said it best. You guys are all awesome. At this time, we are going to hop into a game called The Late Late Show with Eva.
And welcome to the second episode of The Late Late Show with Eva. It's not so late at night, but I am Eva Henderson. And now that it's December, I can officially wish you all a Merry, Merry Christmas. Christmas happens to be my favorite time of the year. So I invited one of my friends up here to read also my favorite Christmas book, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. So if my friend here just wants to introduce herself.
Hi guys, my name's Chloe and I'm a senior at Penn High School and I'm really excited to read this book.
Great, all right. So maybe you have a fire at home, you want to turn that on, and we're just going to dive into this book. Please relax and listen. Okay, lots of pages. Okay. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, and hoped that St. Nicholas soon would be there. It's beautiful.
The children were nestled, all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter.
Forgot my reading glasses. They're on now. Okay. Away to the window, I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer.
With a little old driver, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name.
This is my favorite part. If you know this part, say it with me at home. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all.
As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with the obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And when in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof.
Did you say hoof?
Hoof.
Good, okay. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his pack, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack.
His eyes how they twinkled, his dimples how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow.
The stump of his pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly, and shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly.
He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread.
He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. I just love that book. If you love that book, just give us a little clapping emojis in the chat. But for now, we are going to head over to some of our awesome students, and we are going to play a little Christmas game. All right, are you guys all ready to play a game? Yeah? Okay, I'll stand right here. Okay, so I'm going to have you guys introduce yourselves, your name, what grade you're in, what school, and what your elf name would be. We'll start with you.
My name's Kellen. I'm in 9th grade, and I go to Elkhart High School. And my elf name would be Kellen.
Kellen the elf. Great. All right, on to you, sir.
My name's Carson. I'm in 9th grade, and I go to Edwardsburg High School, and my elf name would be Gerald.
Gerald? All right, Gerald the elf. All right.
My name is Coley. I go to Penn High School. I'm a freshman, and my elf name would be Holly.
Holly, I like it.
I'm Ella. I'm a freshman at Penn, and my elf name would be Tinsel.
Tinsel, very fitting.
I'm Michaela. I'm also a freshman at Penn, and I suppose my elf name would be Snowflake.
Ooh, wow, we got a lot of freshmen up here. Okay, so you guys are split into your teams, and you are going to start by wrapping whoever you choose as your Christmas tree, and then you will use our great decorations down here to just make them look the prettiest Christmas tree, and I'll be voting, and the winner will, you guys will all get your own package of ramen. We are not sponsored, but would like to be. And it did expire November 7th, but I feel like ramen doesn't expire, so you guys are good. Okay, you guys will get about 4 minutes to decorate. So ready, set, go. Okay, I don't know how to even wrap my own Christmas gifts, so I don't know how to do this one. Let's see. Okay, they're starting. Oh, your guys' wrapping paper's ripped. I'm so sorry. Oh, okay, so you guys are just going the full circle route. Okay, you guys have a lot of tape too, by the way. Cool. Okay. Oh, probably should have given you guys some scissors. I'm so sorry. Okay. We got some good teamwork going on over here. Ooh, Christmas tree's coming in with some great ideas. How are you feeling right now, Christmas tree?
Awkward.
Awkward? How come?
This is uncomfortable.
Okay, so sorry about that one. Let's go check over to this team over here. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. We're feeling the pressure.
Feeling the pressure? Because you guys have 3 minutes left. So you guys got to make sure you get all your decorations on. Make sure they look the prettiest as possible. Okay, they're going for the scarf effect, maybe. Kellen's looking like a runway model over here with this outfit. Gonna see you in New York Fashion Week?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, let's see. Oh, they're going for they're using the mask. Very handy. Okay. A little over her eyes. Okay. Huh. Okay, they're going for a headband approach. Kind of good. Yeah, you guys have 15 feet of tinsel here, so use it all. Ooh, they already have their ornaments on. Come on, guys. You have 2 minutes left. So you guys got to hurry it up. Let's see. Ooh, I like how this is looking so far. Kellen looks really happy to be here. Got the ornaments all the way around. I'm getting good Christmas vibes right here. Wow, the scarf is great. Looks like something I'd wear, I don't know, in like 5th grade. The little infinity scarves. Sorry, Chloe, we don't have scissors. My bad. Okay, you have 1.5 minutes. Okay, you guys still have some tinsel, some ornaments. Don't mean to rush you or anything. Oh, ooh, they have lights on them if you guys can't see that. Wow. Ooh, you guys are adding some sock look. It's good. Gonna wrap him some more?
No, he needs
Hair?
Yeah.
What is your envision here, Chloe?
You know, Christmas is just, he could have been a tree, but why not just embody all of Christmas here, you know?
Okay. All right, let's see. I'll bug these guys a bit. What's your envision here, Coley?
Well, we're trying to make her look like a Christmas tree.
Okay, I see it. Yeah, you have the wrapping, the circle movement. Oh. Yeah, isosceles eyes. Anyways, I'm not actually gonna sing. I'm sorry about that one. Oh, they're getting creative over here. Okay, you guys have 20 seconds left. Okay. Wow. Okay, you have about 10 seconds left. Add your finishing touches. Oh, they got really creative. Chloe looks a little stressed. Oh, you used the prize. You're looking a little confident there. Okay, and your time is up. Please stand next to your creations. Okay, let's take a look at Kellen here, who is completely emotionless. Kellen, how you feeling?
Fine.
He's feeling fine. All right, let's see. Okay, would either of you guys like to describe what you got going on here?
So Kellen here has a nice scarf. It's a little bit chilly now, so we need to keep him warm. We have some ornaments in this nice zigzag pattern around him. And of course, he has a mask with Santa all over it. Could also be a beard. You can decide on that. And just wanted to do some foreshadowing here and add the ramen to his chest.
All right, a very confident group. Okay. Ella, would you like to describe what you have going on here?
Sure. So, we took it as a more literal approach. We decided to add some paper to the bottom to make it look like a tree trunk. We had green paper, so I'd say that looks a lot like a tree. Even added a headband here, so yeah.
All right. Well, okay, time to crown the winner. And I'm thinking this group, it looks good. It looks good, but you're supposed to make them look like a Christmas tree. This is a lot. It's a lot of Christmas. But for making them look the most Christmas tree, you guys, congratulations. You win some chicken-flavored ramen noodles, one for each of you. I think she'll hold it for you guys. All right. If you guys want to give them a round of applause. And now I'm going to encourage you to really listen in as we go over to worship with John B. and Maddie Wardlaw.
Saturday was silent, surely it was through. Since when has impossible ever stopped you? Friday's disappointment was Sunday's empty tomb. Since when has impossible ever stopped you? This is the sound of dry bones rattling. This is a praise making dead man walk again. So open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling.
Pentecostal fire, stirring something new. You're not gonna run out of miracles anytime soon.
Yeah, resurrection power runs in my veins too. Yeah. I believe there's another miracle here in this room. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. This is the praise making dead man walk again. So open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. Rattle. My God is able to save and deliver and heal and restore anything that He wants to. Just ask the man who was thrown on the bones of Elisha if there's anything that He can't do. Just ask the stone that was rolled at the tomb. This is
So we have one more song after this one, and then we're going to listen to John Keim as he gives us a great message. But before we do that, I just want to encourage you with this psalm. It's Psalm 145. And he writes, I will exalt you, my God the King. I will praise your name forever and ever. Every day I will praise you and exalt your name forever and ever. Great is the Lord and most worthy of praise. His greatness no one can fathom. One generation commends your work to another. They tell of your mighty acts. They speak of your glorious splendor, of your majesty. And I will meditate in your wonderful works. They tell of the power of your awesome works, and I will proclaim your great deeds. They celebrate your abundant goodness and joyfully sing of your righteousness. And for this next song, I just encourage you to take those words and implement them into your worship. Worship God, and let's worship God together. Let's lean in.
Your love for me won't change. Even when I hold back, even when I'm hiding, you cover me with grace. Even in my failure, even in the striving, you cross the distances to find my heart. And now there's nothing left to say but oh, how I love you, how I need you, how beautiful your grace, how you love me, how you treat me, how beautiful your grace. You run to me, my Father. You sing it through the darkness. You speak into my needs, and you say to me, my Savior, that you will not abandon, that you will never leave, you'll never leave. Oh, how I love you, how I need you, how beautiful your grace, how you love me, how you treat me, how beautiful your grace.
Jesus, thank you so much just for the opportunity we have to worship you together. Though we may not be in the room physically, God, you are here with us, wherever here might be, in our living rooms, in our bedrooms, at a friend's house, doesn't matter. God, you are here with us right now. And we love you so much. It's in your son's name we pray.
So have you ever had an experience that was so amazing, so epic, so incredible, such an amazing experience that you found it difficult to explain to someone else? I mean, maybe it was a sporting event you went to, or maybe it was somewhere you visited and nature's incredible. And maybe it was something with GSM. Maybe it was a camp or a retreat or a mission trip, and you just come back and you're talking to a friend or family, and you're trying to tell them about this, and then this happened, and you wouldn't believe this, and then you're just trying to put it into words, and they're like, oh yeah, that sounds nice. And you're like, nice, no, I'm not, this was incredible, you wouldn't believe it. And I'm like, okay, cool. You wanna go get some dinner? And like, you realize nothing you can say is gonna help them experience this for themselves. So you just finally end up saying, you know what? You just gotta go and see it for yourself. I can't even explain to you. You just have to go and see this thing for yourself. Last year, I had one of those experiences. I had a chance to go to Israel with about 40 or some other people here from the church. We took a trip over there for about 10 days, and it was incredible. I mean, we walked through the places that you read about in the New Testament. And we walked in Bethlehem. We walked in Jerusalem and Nazareth. We went to the Sea of Galilee where Jesus called the disciples. We experienced so many amazing places. We just walked around together and experienced this. It was truly, truly remarkable. And different sites, different places hit people in different ways. And there was a place that we went to that marked me. It was incredible. We went to the Church of the Nativity. Now, this is the place. A lot of the holy places of Jesus' time. What happened is actually over time, the church, they would build these physical churches. They would build churches over these areas to protect them, to keep them sacred, to keep them protected. And the Church of the Nativity, it's built over the believed place where Jesus was born. Now, and you go into this church and it's huge and it's ancient, and you're walking in and you actually, like, there's all these lines. So many people are traveling to get here, and then you make your way through this corridor and you're going down these steps into this small little space. And down in there, it's the place where Jesus was believed to be born. And you're going to see a picture on your screens here. This is a picture of me. This is kind of opposite. This is just kind of down the corridor here. And what you can't see in this picture is the spot where they believe that Jesus was actually born, where he laid. Like, this is the place where God came down, where Jesus in the flesh was born. Like, this is the manger. This is the site. This is the place. It wasn't like a wooden barn built out in the field like we would have experienced. This would have been like a natural cave cropping. Like, this was the place where God came down, where Emmanuel, God was with us. Heaven touched down here, and it marked me in such a way. Like, I was caught off guard. I mean, every site was incredible. This one it struck me for some reason. And so that picture you saw was I just took a step aside. I mean, people were coming through nonstop, and I took a step aside in this little cove, and there's different paintings and murals, all this stuff, and I just sat there and knelt down, and I just reread the birth of Jesus story from Luke 2. And I just sat there in that moment, and I realized that picture, you guys, it may just look like a dark, dingy basement. I mean, it kind of just looks like a dark little cave, but it's one of the things you just have to go and see it for yourself. I can still sense that experience right now as I try and tell you about it. But nothing I can do right now is going to communicate in such a way as if you were actually there for yourself. And that is because some things in life just need to be experienced. They can't be explained. And that's what we're going to be talking about today as we continue in this series called Christmas Lights, week 2. So let me pray for us as we continue into this. God, thank you that we are able to gather through technology all across the place right now in our homes, in our living rooms, in our basements, on our phones, on our computers, on our TVs, wherever it is, God. We are able to gather and in essence kind of be together. But amidst all that, knowing that, God, you are with us. As we learned last week, Emmanuel, God with us, that you are with us right now, spread out wherever we're at. God, you are unifying us together. And so as we continue to press into this and continue to look at the story of your birth, Jesus, help us to see for ourselves in a new way today. As you hear me pray, amen. So during this Christmas season, it's almost impossible for you to not hear about the birth of Jesus. I mean, it's almost impossible to not catch this. Even if you aren't really a church person, if you're not going to church services, there's not really a way around it because everyone's talking about it. Everyone's experiencing it. This is a season of the year where we're celebrating the birth of Jesus. I mean, you can't go very long down the road without seeing a nativity scene. My wife and I just took a trip yesterday. We just drove an hour from here, and there was so many nativity scenes and mangers and lights and all these things pointing towards the birth of Jesus. All these things that are trying to mark the moment, mark the experience, and help us remember what this is about. All of it is pointing towards this one day, towards December 25th, to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ on Christmas. Literally the Christ Mass, a celebration of Christ and his birth. And maybe you've heard people try and explain to you what all this means, that the birth of Jesus, because of the birth of Jesus, you can know how incredible God is. Or maybe it was explained, because of Christmas, you can know how powerful God is. Because of this season, because God came down to earth, you can know how loving God is. And you hear all these explanations, and you hear all these reasons, but for you just aren't sure you really get it. And you follow me here? You're hearing everyone talk about it. Everyone's explaining it, but you just don't know if you get it. And now what I know is some of you watching this, you've heard the good news that brings great joy of Jesus' birth, and you've experienced it personally, and it means something to you. But some of you watching right now, you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I've heard about this life-changing, how life-changing the birth of Jesus is, but I kind of find it hard to believe. Because those that are telling me about it, their lives don't look very changed. I mean, one reason you might not get it or believe it is because the type of people who are telling you the story. Maybe the people who believe the story don't seem to treat other people that well. Maybe they're judgmental towards others. And it makes you think, if believing the story that God come down is so life-changing, and you believe it, why does your life not look very different? It wouldn't appear like your life has actually changed because of this story. And it makes it hard to give much credibility to the story of Jesus. Or maybe you've heard the story of Jesus' birth explained and how it communicates how good God is. But you look around at the circumstance of your life and you think, I don't see much good right now. In fact, life is actually really hard. And you might think to yourself, gosh, I'm only in high school and life has not turned out the way I thought it was going to. There's already hardships I'm facing. I don't feel like I deserve to be dealing with what I'm dealing with. I'm only 17 and this is what I'm facing. And for all of us, this has been a difficult year. I mean, whether this year has impacted you directly or in your own family, just what's going on this year. I mean, the amount of people who have lost jobs this year, the way that that's impacted so many people, those who have lost their lives or lost loved ones. And this, you guys, this stuff hits home. This is close. We're all impacted by this. And it'd be tough to believe in the explanation that there's a good and loving God who's in control of the whole world. It can be hard at Christmas time to look around and see how difficult the world is and think, God coming is a good thing. How does this all work out? And you're listening to the explanation of God demonstrating his closeness and his goodness by coming in the form of a baby, and it just doesn't add up. So no matter what you've heard before, whether you care about the Christmas story or don't, whether you believe in it all or not, I'm asking you for just the next 10 minutes as we revisit the story of the birth of Jesus. As we look at this a little closer, I'm just asking you for 10 minutes just to rethink it a little bit, just to kind of suspend your past, maybe disbeliefs, your past questions, and just consider once again for yourself what this story is really about, what's going on. And here's why. Because this isn't a story. This is history. This happened. These are real people. I mean, you read a lot. You can read atheists. You can read agnostics. You can read people that don't even believe in the Christian faith. And they're not ones that are going to deny that Jesus was a real person. They won't deny the fact that Jesus was born. They don't deny the fact that these were real people with real lives who had real problems and real fears. I mean, Mary was a real teenager, pregnant, with fears and doubts and hopes and dreams that she had had. Joseph was a real young man with questions, with concerns, with expectations for his life. These are people who had doubts and questions about who God was and how God worked in this world and how all this was coming together. And they weren't expecting God to show up on this particular night in history, but he did. So as you listen to this, as we walk through this, as we read this story again, put yourself in the story. I mean, if you were one of these people, how would you have responded? If you were Mary, if you were Joseph, if you were one of the shepherds in the field, how would you respond when the story unfolds? And it starts this way. It comes from the book of Luke, the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2. You can follow along on the screens or just listen to this here. It says, in those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria, and everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and the line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. And while they were there, the time came for the baby to be born. And she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger because there was no guest room available for them. Let's pause here in the story. Let me ask you this. If you were the God of the universe and you were going to enter into the story, if you were going to enter into your own creation, if you were going to show up and show the world how loving and powerful and strong you are, is this how you would show up? As a baby, born in a manger, frail, cold, naked, dependent on everything around you? I mean, I know some of you guys, you don't even walk into a room that same way. I mean, when you show up, everyone knows you're there. I mean, you strut into a room, you got the bravado, it's like, what's up, everyone? I have arrived, I'm here. We can now officially start hanging out, let the games commence, we can eat, you make an entrance in the room just with your friends. And here is the Son of God showing up in the universe in such a way. I mean, for most of human history, people thought God was angry. He was distant. You have to keep him kind of pleased. You have to appease him. You have to make sure he wasn't upset at you over anything. But then God actually shows up in the world as an infant to show that he was humble, that he was kind. And have you ever thought of it this way? God showed up in the world just the way that you showed up in this world. I mean, think about that. Jesus showed up in this world the exact same way that you and I showed up as a baby. God entered the story the same way you and I did. It's incredible. The Christmas story is a remarkable picture of what God is like. I mean, God wanted to put himself in our shoes. Did you ever think about that? Did you connect to that? Like, God showed up and he growed up just like you and me. God went through all of this. He himself experienced what it was like to be human, what it was like to be you and me. Yes, it was a different time period. There wasn't internet and smartphones, and things were very different in some ways, but things were very similar in the other ways. I mean, he walked through life. He experienced betrayal. He got frustrated. He saw one of his best friends die. He knew what it was like to be rejected by others. Can you relate to some of this? Jesus also knew what it was like to have a close-knit group of friends that went everywhere with you. He knew what it was like to experience the joy of the world around him. He knew what it was like to have fun. If you ever wonder if God knows you, and if God loves you, if you ever wonder if God understands you and what you're going through, the Christmas story is proof that yes, he does. He has walked through it. He has lived the same emotions and fears and doubts and excitements that you and I have. Let's keep reading the story here. It picks up in verse 8. It says, then there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. I would say rightfully so. If you're just out in the fields as a shepherd, nothing probably happens much at any given night. And angels show up, that'd throw you off a little bit. That'd be a story to tell. But the angel said to them, do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today, in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is the Messiah, the Lord. And this will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger. And suddenly a great company of the heavenly host, this means a bunch of angels, all appeared with this angel, praising God and saying, glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those on whom his favor rests. And when the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, let's go to Bethlehem. Let's see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about. I mean, good news, great joy for everyone. I mean, there's a lot going on here by showing up and by making this announcement to a group of shepherds who lived outside the city walls. I mean, God could not have been making this point any more clear. God's love is for all people, at all times, in all places. Because see, when we were in Israel last year, the story I was telling about this experience, we visited the town of Bethlehem. We walked through these places, and we went outside of the city walls. We went out into the shepherd's fields. And here's a picture I brought with me to show you of just what the fields look like. I mean, it's not what you may think like. It's a pretty rocky terrain. There's just hills, and this is outside. I mean, these are just up in the hills outside of Bethlehem. And this is where the shepherds would have been. I'm not saying necessarily this hill, but these are the hills that they were in. And we went into some of these shepherds' caves, these little outcroppings where they would have just kept their sheep safe at night. And as shepherds, they would have just slept there with the sheep, stayed. I mean, like, it's what they did. And so shepherds were they were the lowest of the lows when it came to social status. I mean, they live with sheep. They don't even live inside the city walls. They just sleep outside at night with sheep. They probably don't smell very good. They're not distinguished. They don't look great. They don't go to a bunch of social parties. They're too poor. They're too unshowered. And this is who God chooses to show up to. This is the announcement to the shepherds in the field. I mean, go find the person in your school that no one wants to sit with, that no one wants to be around, who's always by themselves at lunch. Maybe they're too poor. Maybe they're not cool enough. Maybe they don't dress nice enough. That's who Jesus would show up and hang out with. That's who God would choose to pick in there. And you can't really explain a God like that he loves all of us and has experienced exactly what it was like for us to go through all this. And you guys, I think one reason to believe that the Christmas story is true is because no one would make it up this way. No one would expect the God of the universe to show up in this way in Bethlehem, in this manger scene, to announce to the shepherds, who are going to be the ones that run in and see it. People would never make up a story like this. So when the angels deliver this message to a group like the shepherds, they have to go and experience Jesus for themselves. I mean, they literally say to themselves, we got to go see this. Let's go do this. Let's go into Bethlehem. We got to see what's going on. Because if God has done this, if God has come in the form of a baby as the Messiah, and if he's done it like this, if he has showed up even to us, then we got to go and see this for ourselves. And so they did. They looked at each other and said, we got to go. We got to see this. And they did that very thing, and it changed them forever. Last little section of the story we'll read today. Verse 16. So this is the shepherds still we're picking up. So they hurried off, and they found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in the manger. And when they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things they had heard and seen, which were just as they had been told. I mean, you get that, like, the shepherds went and they had this experience, and they went and told everyone about it. They couldn't keep this thing to themselves. They came and they told them, like, you wouldn't believe this. This is what God told us. This is what we saw. An angel appeared in the fields. You wouldn't believe it. And then we went and we saw, we found the baby that he had talked about. It was incredible. They went and they told everyone they could. They spread the news as fast as they could. Now, within all the story, I don't know how you feel about all that. I don't know how you feel about what you heard today. I don't know if you just feel like it's a good, like, story, like folklore, like it's a good Bible story, John. I don't know whether maybe you believe it, whether maybe you believe some of it, none of it. Maybe you feel something in that. Maybe something stirs something as you think about the story a little new. Maybe not. But no matter where you land on this story of Jesus' birth, I want to encourage you to do one simple thing. I want to encourage you to follow the example of the shepherds. Something that nobody else would have done back in the day. I want you to do this one thing and go see for yourself. Go see for yourself. Don't just take me for my word on this. Don't take Riley's word or Ryan's word or Pastor Ted's word. Don't take your life group leader's word for this. You go see for yourself this story, this reality about who Jesus is, about what God has done in our lives and how there can be good in such a hurting and broken world. You go see for yourself. We can't let someone else's experience tell us what to believe. I mean, think about this. We'll go test out what our friends say about a certain type of pizza or a great place that's got a great burrito because we have to see it for ourselves. This is faith. This is what we're talking about. This is our identity, our belonging in this world, our purpose for why we exist. You go see for yourself. Don't just take us at our word for this. And so how do you do that? And this is what I want to encourage you. How do you do that? How do you go see for yourself? You may be like, well, John, I can't really get on a plane, fly to Israel, and go see the whole scene. I get it. Here's how you keep doing this. This is how you see for yourself. First thing you do is you keep showing up. I mean, you keep showing up for this. Keep showing up for GSM Live. Keep listening, keep learning, keep thinking about this. Whether we're in virtual for a while or whether we're back in person, show up then too. Maybe it's showing up for the next event that we get to have, maybe a winter retreat coming around the corner in the winter semester here. Whatever it is, keep showing up. Maybe it's the church's weekend services, Granger Community Church. Those are all streaming every weekend too. Keep showing up. Keep showing up. And the second thing then is ask a question. I mean, if there's something that you're wrestling with, if there's something that you're doubting, if you're like, wait, how does this make sense? Wait, so you're telling me this? Ask those questions. Don't just let them sit there and don't just let them go unasked, unanswered. Ask a pastor, ask a parent, ask a friend, ask your life group leader, ask me. I love having conversations about this stuff. Because here's the truth, you guys. I'm 38. I've been following Jesus since I was in 6th grade myself, so 26 years. I still have questions. I still have doubts. There have been things in this last year that have been so hard. I got rocked a couple times. And I got a little angry. I was like, God, how can you let this type of stuff happen? And I got a little confused, like, God, are you even there anymore? I'm a pastor. I'm trying to serve you and follow you, and there are these hardships in my life, and you're still here? So I have questions. I have doubts. The toxic thing is not asking a question. The toxic thing is just holding it in and not talking about that, not processing that. So you want to go see for yourself? You keep showing up, and you ask those questions. Wrestle through them, work through them. This maybe is the first time that you're seeing some of this for yourself. Maybe this is the first time you actually think there's some of this stuff for yourself. If that's you, I want to encourage you to continue that conversation when we jump into life groups. If you haven't been in life groups yet, if you don't know how to, you heard Ryan up at the beginning tell you how to get connected. I'm sure we'll tell you in the closing about how to get connected into a life group. A life group is a group of your peers, a group of other high school students with a loving, caring, Christ-following adult who wants to encourage you, who wants to support you, who wants to walk alongside you as you ask some of those questions. So show up there. I want you to know and experience the love of Jesus. I want you to know that God is still there. Even amidst all the doubts and the struggles and the hardships that I just talked about in this year, I know that God is still there, that God is with me, that God is with us. I want you to know that. I want you to experience that. And then decide for yourself if Jesus is who he really says he is. I mean, what if you did those things? What if you pressed in? What if you kept showing up? What if you asked those questions? How might this next year be different for you? How might you experience Emmanuel, God with us, in this next year when you see it for yourself? Because I'm telling you, it could change everything for you. I know it did in my life, but just don't take my word for it. You go see for yourself. Let me pray. God, I thank you that you are faithful, God. When we seek you out, when we bring our doubts, when we bring our questions, God, when we seek you and that we find you. Jesus, you say in a passage, keep on asking, keep on seeking, keep on knocking, the door will be open. So God, give us the courage, give us the strength, give us the resolve, the willingness to ask our questions, to keep showing up. God, if we're willing to try out different restaurants based on our friends because we have to go and see what they are talking about, God, would we have the perseverance to show up about this, about our faith, about matters that are so important in our lives? And God, I just ask that you would strengthen and embolden the students, the leaders, maybe the parents that are watching this right now, to do those things, to keep showing up and to ask these questions, ask the questions that they have. And God, will they see you for themselves in a new way this Christmas season? All this we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, you guys, before we head to life groups, we've got some stuff to close up, so let me send it back to Ryan.
Well, thank you so much, John Keim. Can we give John Keim a big round of applause in the chat? Some clapping emojis in the chat. That was a great second week to this series. Alongside with me, next to me, at the fireplace, I have my friend Coley Brown. Coley, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
You know, I'm doing well. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Coley.
I go to Penn High School. I'm in 9th grade, and I
play volleyball.
Cool. Bump set spike sports. I'm just going to ask you a couple questions. We're going to have a quick conversation about John's message. What is one takeaway, one big takeaway that you have from John's message?
Okay, so one big takeaway I had was that God showed up in this world just like we did. And I think that's pretty amazing because now you know that God has experienced the same things that we have. He's experienced emotions, he's experienced sadness and happiness, and he really does understand us.
Yeah, it's crazy. When I get a reminder like that, and then I read through some of the things that Jesus taught us, like in the Bible, it really puts things in perspective. Like he's gone through some of the stuff that we're going through, and he still is that encouraging. Okay, so what is one step that you're going to take heading into this week that you want to share with everyone?
This week I am going to, I'm in boot camp, and I'm going to really take time just to read the book that we're doing and understand my faith more. And I'm also going to I'm going to try and post more on Instagram. I'm going to try and post more Bible verses so that hopefully I can inspire people during the day.
That's awesome. Yeah, social media is a great platform to just encourage people sometimes. And speaking of social media, in case you didn't know or weren't here at the very beginning, GSM is on TikTok.
Yep.
And we're on TikTok. So if you don't know what TikTok is, join the club. If you do know what TikTok is and you have a TikTok, feel free to check us out. It's at Granger Students. We'll post some of the message clips. We'll post some hopefully funny stuff, maybe some encouraging stuff. I don't really know. Don't know how TikTok works, but we're going to have a TikTok challenge. Did you hear that, Coley? TikTok challenge for Christmas, just for high school GSM. And so all you have to do is post a TikTok that has something to do with Christmas and use the hashtag GSM Christmas. Hashtag GSM Christmas. And we will be looking through those, and we will let our resident TikTok expert figure out how to handle all of that stuff. But it'll be fun. We'll do some sort of, I don't know if it's contest or just like some fun way to connect. So we TikToking, fam. Don't know where that came from, Coley. I think it's the fire. Other than that, if you are, John mentioned life groups. I talked about life groups earlier, and if that's something that you really think you want to do, if that's a next step that you want to take, or if you just don't have the Zoom information for life groups, be sure to text students to the number on the screen, 574-575-4114, and we will send you all the Zoom information so that you can hop into life groups. Even if you're not in a life group and you're just interested in checking one out, that's okay. You can hop in, and we'll put you in a life group for the time being with some people that are your age. It's going to be great. I love life groups. You're in the life group, so life groups are great if that's something you want to do. Also, and this is, I think, my final announcement before we head off to life groups, we have a raffle, and we're going to be giving stuff away. Again, last week we gave stuff away to the wonderful Addie Mashalik. I think I said her name right that time. I didn't say it right the first time, but she won a blanket, a really soft blanket that felt like a cloud. And this week what we have to give away is this guy, little baby Yoda.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's amazing. You heard it here first. All you have to do to enter this raffle is text winner to the number on the screen. That's winner as in I win. To the number on the screen, 574-575-4114, and answer a couple of questions. It'll help us take kind of attendance. Also, the last question that we have will help us make some pretty basically GSM altering decisions, like creating a TikTok. That was the question the last couple of weeks, and now we're TikTok famous. And so, be sure to text that number, text winner to that number, and be entered to win Baby Yoda. And anything else you want to say to our wonderful crowd?
I'm just going to say that I'm definitely going to go and do that TikTok challenge, and I'm also entering the raffle for Baby Yoda because I really want him.
Awesome. She is going to be doing the TikTok challenge and entering the raffle. So if no one else texts in, Coley's going to take home Baby Yoda. So you better text in, answer some questions, and help us out on TikTok. We want to see... we want you guys to be TikTok friends with us. I don't know how that works. Okay, other than that, we're heading to life groups on Zoom, and we hope you have a great week. I'm so glad you joined us. We love you. We miss you guys. Peace.
Throughout the heavens, there's shone a hope. with the story of a baby born in Bethlehem. It ends with the glory of the spineless land being raised again. The earth is rejoicing, heaven and nature sing. It's Christmas morning. Come and see what the angels see this blessed morning. God so loved that He gave His Son. Oh, Jesus Christ has come. It's Christmas. Salvation is dawning. Hear the shepherds tell of the first Noel. Redemption is calling as the tidings ring of a newborn King. The earth is rejoicing, heaven and nature sing. It's Christmas morning. Come and see what the angels see this blessed morning. God so loved that He gave His Son. Oh, Jesus Christ has come. It's Christmas.
Joy to the world, He has come. It's Christmas. Join everyone in the song of Christmas. Joy to the world, He has come. It's Christmas. Join everyone in the song of Christmas. It's Christmas.
It's Christmas morning. Come and see what the angels see this blessed morning. God so loved that He gave His Son. Oh, Jesus Christ has come. Oh, it's Christmas morning. Come and see what the angels see this blessed morning. God so loved that He gave His Son. Oh, Jesus Christ has come. Oh, Jesus Christ has come. It's Christmas.
Teason, I don't know about you, but I love this time of year.
Me too. I love the lights, the trees, the giant parades. I love the joy I feel around the holidays. I love the snow that falls and covers the earth. I love to sing songs of the Savior's birth. Can't wait for Christmas. Can't wait for Christmas. I love the way Main Street looks at night. I love the sparkle that I see in everybody's eyes. The claymation shows take us back in time, and then we watch Elf at a minimum twice. Can't wait for Christmas. Can't wait for Christmas. I love snow days. We head to the hill, pile 3 on a saucer. You can bet on a spill. Stacking gloves on the furnace at the end of the day. And as we sit by the fire, tell me who wouldn't say, can't wait for Christmas. Can't wait for Christmas. 'Cause when you think it's gonna end, it's coming back around again. Can't wait for Christmas. Can't wait for Christmas. Can't wait for Christmas. 'Cause snow is falling everywhere and love is always in the air. Can't wait for Christmas. Can't wait for Christmas. Snow is falling everywhere and love is We awake to laughter at the foot of our bed. Hold up some mistletoe over my baby's head. Open the good book and we turn to look and read of love coming down for me and for you. Can't wait for Christmas.